What up, Net fans? NetsBoy here, bringing your latest your Brooklyn Nets news. Holy crap! That's all I have to say. Holy crap! This is obviously a quick video after my last video. Usually I wait a week, but of course my last video was just like 3 days ago, going into Game 7, and now Game 7 is complete, and the Nets did everything they possibly could to try to blow the series in that Game 7. I mean, if you watched the Game 7, which I'm sure you did, just like I did, the Nets really just came out as the better team throughout the whole game until maybe about the fourth quarter. You know, Joe Johnson was fantastic. You know, Marcus Thornton finally existed for the first time in the series. You know, Marcus Thornton's a guy who led the Nets in scoring some games in the regular season, and, you know, he's a guy who can put up 20-something points, and he didn't even, like, crack double figures until this game. He came up big. Kevin Garnett had a double-double. He came up big. Really, everybody came up big for the Nets, except for really Darren Williams, who decided to not exist at all. And then not only did he not exist, he tried to lose the game for the Nets by missing tons of clutch free throws down the stretch, turning the ball over left and right, and just letting Kyle Lowry just do whatever he wants and get right to the basket every time. I mean, the Nets tried to lose. I swear to God, they tried to lose that game. And somehow they didn't. And I was watching the game. They were up by, I think they were up by about 10 with like 5 minutes to go. And I said the Raptors are going to make this way too close. I called it right then and there. And the Raptors did. Was it the Nets screwing up or the Raptors playing well? I think it was a combination of both. It was the most frustrating thing in the world. My heart was like pounding every play. I was screaming at the television. It seemed like the last 2 minutes were the most nerve-wracking minutes ever, with the turnover by Darren Williams, followed by the missed free throws by Darren Williams, followed by the fact that Livingston throws the ball to Terrence Ross, and oh my God. I'm going to go back to that play before that. If you remember one of my older... Italian! If you remember any of those former videos that I had about the last time the Nets lost, one of the games that they lost where the inbounds ball went to Patrick Patterson, who stole the ball and made a buzzer beater, if you remember that in the regular season, the same exact thing almost happened. I was like flipping out, and Jason Kidd did the same exact stupid thing. When you are up, all right, when you are up by 3, or when the Nets were up, they're up by 3, and the other team makes a basket, and you have 6 seconds left in the game, why are you calling a timeout to inbounds the ball? It's not hard to inbounds the ball off a made basket. As a matter of fact, that's the easiest time to inbounds the ball. If you ever play basketball, ever, in any league, whether it's rec, high school, college, professional, D-League, European League, or whatever, you know the easiest time to inbounds the ball is right after a made basket, because the defense doesn't have time to set up. All you gotta do is quickly grab, throw it into the first guy you see, especially when you have nothing but 80% free throw shooters. So why is Jason Kidd saying, oh, I'm gonna call a timeout because I think I'm really special and smart and think I'm gonna run up a great inbounds play to let Terrence Ross steal the ball? What is that? Oh my God, the same thing happened when they lost in the regular season and Patrick Patterson stole the ball. At that time, it was a 1-point game. No, it wasn't. Yeah, well, that was a 1-point game. He calls a timeout after the made basket instead of, even though they had to foul back then too, calls a timeout so they can draw up a play that's useless that Patrick Patterson stole the ball. Well, this is the same exact thing. Lowry makes a layup to go. It's a 1-point game. 6.4 seconds. They don't even try to throw the ball in. They don't. Now, I can understand if you, off the made basket, if the inbounder tries to get in, he can't find anybody, yeah, call a timeout. Do it. But not right away. You get the ball. The first guy you see who's open, you give him the ball. Because all they're going to do is foul. Instead, you call a timeout. Why did that matter? You saw exactly why it mattered. Because now that they had 2 timeouts remaining, they burned 1 timeout. They only had 1 timeout left. They couldn't inbound the ball, so they had to call that timeout. So now the Nets are out of timeouts, which means the next time they inbounds the ball, John Livingston has to force a pass and basically throws a jump ball between Paul Pierce and Terrence Ross. I wonder who's going to win that one. Let's see. Old piece of crap Paul Pierce or former slam dunk champion? I don't know. Throws it over there, steals, great steal by Terrence Ross, and the Raptors have a chance to win the game. And I swear to God, if the Raptors won this game, the Game 7, I'm already pissed about how the game ended, even though the Nets still won. Imagine how furious I would have been after this. It's just the same exact things with certain coaches in this league. I don't get it. I don't understand the concept that some coaches process. Jason Kidd has done a great job this year. You know, I wrote that song about how the Nets should fire him and all that stuff, but he's really done a great job, but he's still does some boneheaded things. And it's not just him, there's two plays in basketball that coaches do that I just don't understand, or players do I don't understand. This is one of them where when they have to foul, a team calls a timeout just to get fouled. Like, that's the strategy. How are we going to inbounds the ball? We want to set up our offense so we can inbounds the ball. Well, they're going to set up their defense. You know what's a good way to stop them from stopping you? Is by giving the ball when the defense is scattered after a made basket. You know what I mean? If you know anything about basketball, you know I'm right. I don't know why you're calling a timeout to let the defense set up. That's my number one thing that coaches always do that I don't understand. And here's the second one. When it's a one-possession game, and there's over 8 seconds left, I'd say like 13 seconds left in the game, a one-possession game, why do players foul in the backcourt? I don't get it. Think about it. Now, think about it. Say there's 13 seconds left in the game. Now, of course, we haven't seen this happen in a while, but this is something that I've seen a lot of time in a lot of sports, especially college basketball. You know, college basketball, it's 10 seconds, so it's a little bit more understanding. But say there's 13 seconds left. In the NBA, you have 8 seconds to get the ball from across the half court. So that means if you get an 8-second violation, you're going to have 5 seconds left in the NBA, especially if you have a timeout. So if you have a player trapped in the backcourt and they're never looking to pass, they're not looking to pass. They're like this, protecting the ball so they don't lose it. Don't foul. Trap him. Make him try to pass the ball out. Do not foul. Trap him. What's the word? What if you don't? What if he doesn't pass if he passes the ball out, then you foul him. If he gets the ball half court, you foul him. But instead, trap him. You know why? Because there's going to be a 5-second back to the basket count, which is now going to leave you 7 seconds left. No, more than that. What am I saying? 7 seconds left. If say there's 13, well, that means 12. That means you would have 8 seconds left. Or you get an 8-second count because they couldn't get the ball past half court. Now you're going to have, I can do math, 5 seconds. 5 seconds left. You know what I'm trying to say? They're trying to keep turning the ball over. Just do not foul. And teams always do that. And it's the same thing with this inbounds play. Why do you need a timeout to set up the ball to get the ball thrown and get fouled? It drives me crazy. And I don't understand why coaches and players do it. Part of me almost wanted the Nets to lose because of it, because it was such a stupid play. And they did everything they can. I almost was this close to rooting for the Raptors because the Nets just fell apart. I swear to God, they didn't deserve to win. I'm going to be straight up honest. They did not deserve to win Game 7. The way they played down the stretch, they deserved to lose that game. And, obviously I'm happy that they won, but at the same time, they didn't deserve it. And the Raptors, tough. This is a team that is going to be good if they can bring back Kyle Lowry, who is a free agent. If they can bring back Kyle Lowry, this is a team that's going to be one of the top teams in the East from now and for a while. They are. I completely took them for granted because, you don't watch them every day. I don't watch them every day. I watch them play. They're a very good team. And you know what? In my opinion, DeRozan and Lowry is the best backcourt in the NBA. Say what you want. You can throw anybody else out there. Darren Williams, Joe Johnson, sort of. Klay Thompson, Steph Curry, yeah, maybe. You look at some of the other good backcourts in the league. In my opinion, DeRozan and Lowry are the two best. They are. The biggest problem the Raptors have is they need to get consistency out of their role players. Terrence Ross is borderline a role player. He's almost one of their star players because he had that 55-point game or something. The guy was almost non-existent in the whole playoffs. But you know what? He did make a big steal. He did make some big baskets down the stretch. Amir Johnson had a great game in Game 7. Valanciunas, he became a non-factor in Game 7. And I think the biggest problem the Pacers, yeah, I'm not even getting there. The Raptors have is their bench, their consistency off the bench. They have guys on that bench who can score. Patrick Patterson, Vasquez, Hansbrough brings some toughness. John Salmon's supposed to be good. But the problem is the bench is too inconsistent. And that's what the Raptors need to hammer out on the offseason. If the Raptors can bring in a more consistent bench, I think Vasquez and Patterson are locks off that bench. But they need a better job to plug in their other situations. They need a little bit more on that bench. Maybe some veteran leadership to help them out with the young kids. I think the Raptors have a bright future, and I think that they are going to be, next year, one of the best teams in the East. I really do. I think that they've proven that. Like I said, part of me almost wanted the Raptors to win because they were great. Kyle Lowry is the most underrated player in the game right now. If I redid my top 5 or top, I remember the beginning of my videos, I don't know, I had maybe 1 subscriber. I did my top 3 most underrated players. Vince Carter, of course, being number 1. Vince Carter can slide to number 2. I think Kyle Lowry is the most underrated player in the NBA. The guy is incredible, and DeRozan, he's another guy who can be on that list because he's got game. And the Raptors, that team, they're going to be good. It's a shame, but you know what? That's the way. If you ever notice in the NBA playoffs, you have to take your bumps before you can go on. You look at the Heat, they lost in the championship before they won. The Thunder had to lose all their times before they went to the finals. Of course, they ended up losing, and who knows what's going on there. The Nets had to lose to the Bulls in Game 7 last year. Now they took it to the next level. That's the way it seems in the NBA. You got to go through your bumps. You got to go through the almost like the learning process. So watch out for the Raptors. That's all I got to say. They're good. And Toronto fans, the Raptor fans, are fantastic. They were the best fans in the NBA postseason in the first round, hands down. Hands down. It might have something to do with the fact that their hockey teams are all eliminated from the playoffs, I think. I don't know. I don't really follow hockey, but from what I understand, I think all the Canadian hockey teams have been eliminated. That's weird. So I guess right now, if you live in Canada, you're like, okay, well, baseball season, we have the Blue Jays, who the season just started. Oh, the Raptors, let's go Toronto. I think that's what happened, and I think, they had nothing else going for them right now because their hockey teams are out. But I could be wrong. I don't know. I don't believe any hockey teams from Canada made the either they didn't make the playoffs or they already been eliminated in the first round of the NHL playoffs. I'm not even sure. I know the Maple Leafs lost, so obviously that's why the Toronto fans are like, let's go Raptors. Better luck next year, Toronto. You're a good team. You definitely shocked a lot of people, I think. But there you go. Nets, though, hung on. Based on my reaction, you would think the Nets lost, but they did win, barely, by a lucky block by Paul Pierce. You can say what you want. That was lucky. It was good defense. Lowry got to the basket, but he had a put up a quick shot, and Pierce was right there for the block. It was just luck. It really was. It really was. Nets won that game off luck in the end of the game. In the main portion, I would say of the 48 minutes, 44 of the 48 minutes, the Nets were great. Absolutely fantastic. But you know what? Either way, Nets are advanced, and they will play the Miami Heat in the second round of the playoffs. I don't know what to say here. Normally, I'm going to predict that it's going to be a hard-fought, close series. I think that the Nets match up well against the Heat. That's why they beat them 4 times in a row in the regular season. But the playoffs are a completely different story. And look, the Heat haven't played in over a week. The Nets are going to have 1 day off. Game 1 is Tuesday night. I never realized it was that quick of a turnaround from Game 7 to Game 1. The Nets have 1 day. Monday. Today. Today's their only off day. And I got to fly from Toronto down to South Beach. The Nets are going to lose Game 1. I think they'll win Game 2. And I think they'll win Game 3. But then I think Miami will win Game 4. Miami will win Game 5. I think the Nets will win Game 6. And I think Miami will win in 7 games. That's my prediction. I am making the prediction now. that Miami will beat the Nets in 7. I've been wrong with most of my predictions. Actually, like almost all of them. I mean, I predicted the right teams winning. When everything's been all said and done, I was actually only wrong on the Wizards and oh, that was it. Oh, Wizards and Rockets. I mean, Wizards and Trailblazers. So I actually was 6 out of 8 when it came to who I predicted to win. Now the games in which I predicted were completely wrong, but I picked 6 out of the 8 winners, so I feel like I did all right there. You know, I had Houston over Portland, and I had Chicago over Washington, but I was right everywhere else. But so I'm just gonna say the Heat are gonna beat the Nets in 7. The only reason is the Nets are too old, and they're gonna be after this hard-fought series. I don't know if they're gonna have a lot left in the tank. The fact that I'm predicting to go 7 games, I think, is even pushing it. And of course, I'm gonna be rooting for the Nets. Duh. But I'm gonna be straight up honest. I don't see them beating the Heat. I hope they do. Maybe it will change after game 1 or game 2 when I see how they play. Based off the regular season, you don't know. But that's my prediction there. In the other series, the other game 7s, or the other game 7, my Mavericks just completely, I don't know where they were. I guess they didn't show up for game 7. They got blown out by the Spurs. Vince, I'm sorry. Another year with no championship, and I don't know what you're free agent, Vince. Join the freaking Heat, for Christ's sake. I don't care. Win a championship. I don't know. I was very disappointed. I was ecstatic. You know what? The fact that the Mavericks pushed it to 7 games, I think was really impressive. I kind of wanted them to really win that series. I'm not gonna lie. But hey, whatever. So, better luck. Better next year, Vince. Maybe you want to come back to Dallas. Dallas needs to figure something out. I don't know. So look at the second round matchups. You got Washington versus Indiana, Brooklyn versus Miami, and that's in the East. In the West, you got Portland versus San Antonio, and then you got the Clippers versus the Thunder. I think they're all great series. I already told you I think the Heat are going to beat the Nets in 7. I think the Wizards are going to beat the Pacers. I do. The way the Wizards play, I think the Wizards are going to win in 6 and shock everyone. I think I got the Clippers beating the Thunder in 6. I think that too. I think the Thunder have pushed the edge of their things. I think the Clippers are going to shock people and win that series. And I think San Antonio is going to win in 5 over Portland. I just think that. Who knows? We'll find out. But that's really it. There you have it. First round complete. Let's play Tuesday night against the Heat. We'll see how it goes. Hopefully they can recover. It's going to be a great series. I'm super excited. Good luck next year, Raptors. Good luck, Vince. And until then, this is NetsBoy signing off.